Now presenting
the RKULTRA Podcast,
Expanding Your Minds.
whether you want it or not.
Welcome to the RKULTRA Podcast. On today's thrilling episode, we'll be talking about virtual reality. We'll be doing a deep dive into the history of VR. We'll be giving you the RKULTRA critical analysis on the pros and cons of the subject. And we'll be talking about the new emerging tech in the field of virtual reality.
But first, we'd like to thank our sponsor,
Glam Cream. It's the creamiest. Today's episode brought to you by Glam Cream. Glam Cream, the world's leading cream for your face. To apply Glam Cream, simply take your 8-inch tube and stick it directly in front of your face. Squeeze, 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 and apply that white, viscous fluid all over. Let dry, and then peel off. You'll feel like a new person. Listen to this testimonial from a real Glam Cream customer.
I've been taking Glam Cream every day for a month. I'm not sure that it does anything, but boy, is it fun to apply.
Glam Cream. Results may vary.
Man has been fantasizing about exiting this shitty reality for a long time. In the 1800s, the stereoscopic viewer was invented. This was an archaic form of virtual reality. In the 1930s, there's a more refined version, and you may remember it. It was a little red box. You'd put it to your face, and you'd click, and you'd see like a picture of the Eiffel Tower or some other landscape. This was called the Viewmaster, and it used two different pictures to create a 3D image with depth. Man has been also dreaming about virtual reality fiction for a long time. The first book to mention it was in 1935, and it was called Pygmalion Spectacles. This book showed a version of goggles that would let you live a virtual life and smell and even taste things in a virtual world.
So it was basically trying to predict what modern VR is becoming.
Yeah, and it had a few things right and a few things that we, can't do yet.
And then in the mid-1950s, a man named Morton Helig invented the Sensorama. Now, the Sensorama was some sort of booth you'd sit in, and you'd watch a film, and it was supposed to stimulate all the senses. It would feature a stereo speaker, a stereoscopic 3D display, fans, smell generators, and a vibrating chair.
Ah, sounds sexy.
It was. It was intended to fully immerse you into another world.
I bet.
This is some pretty advanced technology for the 1950s and some pretty cutting-edge VR, if you ask me. But obviously, the Sensorama was big, clunky, and not good for commercial use. So in the 1960s, the head-mounted VR display was invented. As technology progressed and we became more and more integrated with it, the VR headset became more powerful, and the digital processing images became more and more vast and open. Fast forward to today, and we can step into a world like Skyrim, where we can just go and club a zombie's head in right in your living room, and no consequences.
Truly a marvel of modern technology.
And now that we've all got a background into the history of VR, it's time to talk about the positive and negative effects of using virtual reality. Kevin, tell them all the information our vast team of analysts have compiled for us.
Well, I've found that something that you should be aware of is that after 30 minutes in virtual reality, you basically lose all spatial awareness of what's around you. So you should make sure that you move your furniture and, clear your place out, because you might accidentally slam your cock on the coffee table or punt your dog or hit your wife. You don't know, where you are in the room after about 30 minutes. So that's something to be aware of. You should also be aware that memories stored in VR are stored much like your memories in real life. So if you're fighting off hordes of zombies, you might feel more real anxiety in that situation than you would just, playing your PlayStation. Or if, your virtual wife leaves you, then you'd probably feel more sad than if your Sims wife leaves you. But there's a lot of positives to VR, too. It can be used to rehabilitate stroke victims, and also the military uses it to train pilots and whatnot.
Though, I've always felt like a god in the VR environment. Kevin, tell me how I can feel more like a god with the emerging technology in today's society.
Well, if you really enjoy VR, I suggest you allow Elon Musk to Neuralink you. I think you should get a chip in your brain, because that's the future, really. The only way we're going to smell, taste, feel, and have virtual reality truly immersive is if we get a chip surgically implanted into our brains to decrease the bandwidth between the machine and what we're doing.
Ah, that sounds terrifying.
So if you want to conquer a virtual world and really destroy your enemies and know how it actually feels, you're probably going to need that adaptation.
Yeah, it's the logical step in becoming a cyborg, towards the ultimate VR reality that I think humanity is looking for.
And, normally I'm a skeptic when it comes to things like this, but I really don't think it'll go too far. I don't think that they'll transmit ads into your head or,
No.
Switch switches to make you believe certain things.
Never. No, they wouldn't affect your hormones in a sort of way and play with the circuitry in your brain, the delicate balance.
You just have to trust billionaires and your government as much as you can.
I know I do.
I think it'll all work out for the positive.
It has to.
Yeah.
So when I was pouring through my notes that the analyst gave us, I noticed that there was a chapter missing. It was sex and VR. Do you know anything about this?
I've read some reports about this. And apparently nowadays that there's this newfangled technology where you just, strap something on your member and, just watch VR lewd videos and, the thing just kind of does the work.
What?
Yeah.
How do you know so much about this?
I just from research. Our researchers were researching it, and I saw it on their Google history.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happened to the chapter we had that was compiled for us?
I don't have that information. I can only tell you from the reports that I've read.
I was getting coffee in our break room, and I heard a vibrating noise coming from the bathroom.
Yeah.
There was a wire that was ran into there, and about 5 minutes later, you came out.
That was not me. It was Party Mitch.
Okay.
Yeah. We look alike, but
anyways,
I'm not that depraved yet.
Let's tell the audience a little bit more about sex and VR.
Well, I don't know that there's much more about it. Besides that, they're trying to eliminate the need to go out of the house ever again, I suppose.
Yeah.
You just strap it in and set it to morning head and fall asleep, I guess.
I can't believe that there are people out there just getting it on with robots.
Yeah,
daily. And I've got to say, based off the evidence, I believe the future of VR is a bright one, as well as humanity as a whole.
Yes, but all this talk has me wondering, what if our reality is a simulation? What if everything we know and love is just some creation from some alien race or higher being? I mean, if we can create virtual reality, who's to say that someone hasn't already done it and put us in it?
Well, I guess that means the ultimate goal is to figure out the algorithm of this program.
Yep, and input a cheat code and bang some robots.
All right, that brings us to the end of the episode. If you guys liked it, please like and subscribe.
And you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at RKUltracast.
Or find us at www.rkultra.com.
Follow us because we'll be following you.